situations by their opponents, and they are trying to make plays individually to kind of win the round. That is not consistent. Mousesports have, I do believe, a better structure, despite having some of the same issues. But Mousesports' issues are quite their own, but I do believe them to be favoured here. And they will start on a side which is good for them. Good nade to kick things off as Mousesports approach the favoured for them, I would say, CT side. I mean, usually Mousesports have massive CT sides on this map, despite it being a bit of a T-sided map. So we'll have to see if G2 can overcome this.
I like this setup over towards the drop. They seem to have a read on what G2 might have in mind, but Dan, they're just standing around.
They are waiting.
While they wait, I think we should wait, Dan.
Finishing their Sudokus.
I think we should wait in perfect silence.
No.
Well, it's time to come in now, and the setup is well, you can decide who it's gone in the favour of. Well, next going down makes it definitely in the favour of G2. 2 CTs left, despite a little bit of a good start. That's a great shot from Nico. What is these taps? This is absurd. Body down to 44 HP. Chris J behind the rock. Body has no idea where Chris J is, and Chris J has the bomb right next to him. It's almost a cushion, Dan. It's so close. Body going to get 2 taps taken down. Nico with... Oh, the man is just disgusting, Dan. He's disgusting.
Beautiful. It's delicious.
Oh, man.
Sumptuous. It's eating those players. Now, yeah, that's a pretty close round that Mousesports will take. So they've won a pistol round. Hooray! In fact, I am going to put my tea down so that I can give them a little bit of an applause. Not even a golf clap, but this is real applause.
Posh applause.
So
posh English applause.
So they will play their anti-eco here against G2, who are on the force buy or anti-force buy for Mousesports, and then is it. One player on the right, one to the left. There are bullets being sprayed all over the place by these SMGs, and they're finding all the kills that they need to find without any losses so far. That's actually a massive result. Mousesports, a team that were racked with problems against pistols in the previous map. Not only have they won the pistol round, they have won against the force buy. They are looking good to get the first 3 rounds to start with a good economy. Mousesports might actually be able to get to play their game properly on the CT side.
Ooh. There is, this is another round, Stan, where $300, a mere $300 has been spent on the eco. And this time it's Shox, who will have the P250.
James, I implore you not to get the hopes up of the people.
But there was no bomb plant on this occasion, whereas I believe last time we saw this, there was a bomb plant.
Yes, there was.
Which was part of the story. So the question is, what are the intentions of G2? Never mind this round. What are they going to plan for the round after this one? Do they have a surprise buy coming in? I'm curious. And I hope Scream dies quickly so we can find out. Spiddy, what are you doing? What is he doing? Was he reloading? I guess he was reloading. Scream probably going for a peek while he heard it.
Oh!
Finished off by Nico.
The jump in the mag. Jump in the mag. He's a fire starter, James. A twisted fire starter.
I completely misread the round, Dan. Of course, it's the 3rd round, which is why there was a solid eco there. The buy comes in for G2. They have not had much of anything yet. Just 4 kills, sorry. 4 kills in 3 rounds for the T side. Gonna approach. I mean, we see part of the default for T sides is to hang around outside A, but G2 seem to be moving extremely quickly, so they're not going to rest on anything at the moment, trying to surprise Mousesports with some timing, but double HEs in response. Not much damage, though.
Double HE all the way. Ooh, ooh, Body is dropping bodies there. Chris J out of the round.
Hello, Body.
Dennis has been sent to the bench, and now it's going to be a 3 versus 5. Mousesports are going to be having problems here, although the slow approach of G2 is actually giving them some space to move, but that player who is on the lurk, it's Mr. Shoxy, is probably just going to slam this round out in the... I don't know where I'm going with that. He's going to win the round, James. Let's stop trying to use fancy words. Shox is about to win the round probably for his team. He should have an amazing flank coming in. There's Spiddy who's close here, and surely he goes down. Shox is wanting these frags so bad, but Shox not even required so far. The tease there for Shox, and now perhaps it's Shox who will be flanked. Nico coming around the corner, and indeed Shox, after all of that, will fall to Nico. So that was quite, I like how anticlimactic that was. I enjoyed that.
Well, both teams onto the scoreboard. Mousesports buying up after holding on to the UMPs and the like. Double AWPs, in fact. So, Chris J can go over towards long A. Could take it towards the underpass as well, but not every AWPer does. The holding angle towards the boulder. It is more dangerous because you can be susceptible to the fast pop flash coming in through the smoke. G2 will be headed for another fast play towards the B-bomb site on this occasion. NiKo is on the ramp. There are nades flying in. He is going to be flashed as well, taking a pot shot, not finding anything, trying to jump into the site to help his teammate, but that will reveal his position. He'll go down. Man advantage for the G2 side at the moment. Got NP7s coming in to take down Speedy. Dennis wants to even the numbers, but he's failing to do so. Nades flying all over the place. Body stuck behind the statue, but doesn't have the bomb. The bomb is still on plateau for the time being.
Yeah, this is doable actually for Mousesports. It's going to be hard, but it's doable. The T's there, the pokes. Bomb still needs to go down, needs to get its way across. Oh, the flank kill from Dennis. That is important, but he goes down to 14 HP. Chris J needs to play a large part in this round, especially now that Dennis is actually finally dead, which will allow the bomb to be planted on the site. Chris J lurking in. There's the first flick. He cannot afford to miss. That opportunity might not come a second time, but it will, and that's the bomb. The bomb now down again. I'm sure Chris J must have seen that. What an awkward situation here for Body. And Chris J, you can see, is a little bit antsy, but this time he will be taken down by Body. And I got to say that really felt like in that round, NiKo really kind of he misread the situation. Obviously, we saw him leaping into the T's because the T's were just like choosing to rush into the bomb site, not even check all the way to the end of plat. So if there was a player, let's say, in that corner with a rifle, as there often is, that guy would have destroyed the entire push. But because it was NiKo with an AWP and he's behind the box, he felt like he was in a position where he's in a lot of trouble. So he kind of panic jumped into the site. But unfortunately for him, the T's were on a fast pace and he got punished. So it's going to be Chris J with the AWP. That could be salvation here for Mousesports, but G2 on the comeback trail.
Yeah, so it seems he's willing to go to the more risky position now that his team have limited by, going for the extra aggression, trying to get an early advantage for the side, but none will be had just yet. Moving over towards long A again is Chris J. You can see the Mag 7 over towards B. There is just the one Mag 7. Deagle's out onto Dennis. Oh, Smith's faster than Chris J, despite the superior angle held by the German. Sorry, he's Dutch, isn't he?
So who, Chris J? Yeah, he's Dutch, yeah.
He is not German.
He's the flying Dutchman.
He is not German. There's a German team, though.
Except for NiKo, who's Serbian.
Yes, that is correct.
And also, you know, Chris is Dutch.
Yes, he is.
So it's barely 50% German.
Well, isn't it 60%?
But the org is German.
Okay, we'll go with that.
You're correct, 60%, yes. Mathematics. How about that?
How about that indeed? Well, NiKo getting cheeky with the Mag 7 there, closing the distance while he feels like he has the opportunity. So, I mean, he was moving towards the other side of the B plateau, yet his teammates are still not really committed to A here, which you would think would be the play in this situation. Dennis has been spotted. The shoulder is enough for Smith to take him down. Two-man advantage now for G2 as they look to have a successful anti-force buy. Diorp, though, is still out. Never mind. Mag 7 and UMP remaining, and really, do Mousesports cut their losses here? Well, Nex has been cut from the living roster in this round.
I feel like we're in for another really weird map, James. I feel like that is going to happen now.
You might be right, Dan.
We shall see. Ooh, an AWP has been discovered by NiKo. Please pick up the AWP, NiKo. He's afraid. He's afraid that they're going to rush him down. He's got the Mag 7. Boom. Second kill, mate. Can he get the headshot on the next one? Oh, yes, he does. Some big damage there. Some big money for NiKo. 3 kills on the Mag. That is money in the bank. And he can perhaps...
he made a 3K down to make 5K.
Yeah, he could even potentially just AWP up now. But he won't because his team cannot buy if he does. So he'll Mag up again and look to make yet more money here for the team. Let's see how he does. And let's see if G2 can play another decent round against what is basically a weak selection of guns.
3 over towards B for the CT side, and more fast plays coming in. Two-man spray down for Body. Get bodied. 2 left here, and there's no Kevlar on these. I make no apologies for that Body pun, so you can say whatever you want. Dennis left with the Deagle. Where is Dennis? Dennis is running to the tower. There is actually a tower down in Azerbaijan called the Maiden Tower. And there's a meal.
Are there maidens in there?
There's a meal called the Maiden Tower. I couldn't tell you what was in it, but I can tell you that it was delicious.
All right, then. So, Dennis will get nothing right at the end. So another round that's taken by G2 on the anti-eco. So that's nicely done by them. G2 looked better on Cobblestone. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, maybe like a month ago, maybe a little bit longer, I think G2 actually beat NIP on Cobblestone. If I'm not mistaken, it was a long time ago. My memory is somewhat compromised. So 4-3, Mousesports with a bye, but no AWP on Nico or Chris J. And previously, G2 have been finding success picking towards the A side of the map. So Mousesports must be cautious. Oh, wow, that tag onto Chris J. He is lucky to be alive. Need to count his lucky stars.
G2 holding formation for the time being. Everybody holding formation. What are the intentions of the bomb? It's being thrown all over the place at the moment. They've dropped the bomb 3 times in the last 15 seconds, Dan. Which is interesting. I was wondering if there was a purpose. Or if they are just moving it a little bit. The bomb is being collected and now moves over towards the B bomb site. 55 seconds left for the G2 team. And I believe that we might have Shoxy moving in with the UMP towards the drop zone soon. So this is a bit of a different setup here from the CTs, and it might be hard for G2 to identify this. They do have Molotovs for the back corner to the right of Nico. Speaking of Molotovs, he will answer back with some of his own and play around the smoke. He avoids the first flashbang, but the team kill comes in after Nico goes down. They'll take that. Although this has turned into a 4 versus 2, 4 versus 1. The frags all coming the way of the CT side now. Smith's alone versus 3, taking down Dennis. But there is a trade fragger towards the statue. Out he comes. Spiddy to take him down.
Yeah, much better that time. Actually, G2, they won their first round like that, bye against bye, when Mousesports had an AWP on Nico. And Nico, you know, jumped into the push. This time, obviously, Mousesports had a better response, a better reaction. Nico was sitting there more expectant of a play like that. And he had a rifle this time, which is a big difference because it allows him to play close, whereas the AWP you can't play as comfortably in the close ranges. But I'll have to hold that thought for now. Chris J's going aggressive on a long, and also it looks like G2 moving very quickly towards B plateau, although they are slowing down a little bit now that they get close. So a bit just teasing me there, not going for the super fast pace a la Luminosity last night or this morning. Here you go. The split comes in onto the B-bomb site. G2 looking to get the execution solid on the coordination into the site, but next drops the first player. Trades coming in with Smiths on the refrag, but it's going back and forwards here. Who is going to be able to hold down this bomb site? Will it be the tease for the plant? It looks like that's going to be happening right now. Chris J going to thin out the numbers, but unfortunately for the Mousesports side, they will lose yet another bye round, and this time it's right after winning one, so they are going to be in trouble. Although Chris J is going back in, though. I thought he was going for the save. I like this. I like it, but the angle is so good from body. That is so sick. That's like the best angle you can have, probably, for that, to defend there. And actually, Chris J is even lucky he's alive, to be honest.
That will be that for Chris J. He will run away and salvage what he can. Let's have a look at the money for the CT side. We can see Chris J's got $3,000 in the bank. You can see the scoreboard, and yeah, the money is actually terrible for them. They're only going to get $1,900 loss bonus from this round. So tough times ahead. G2 take the lead back, and there's not much that Mousesports can really do around this weapon. Chris J has some extra money, so he will buy a few grenades. So again, last time they had a difficult situation, Chris J went over towards the underpass, or mid if you will, looking over towards the boulder, etc. on the other side. This time he heads towards B. We've seen many fast plays from G2. Will they continue here? It seems they will. It's a bit of a common occurrence actually when people save one up and nothing else and they're expected to be on an eco other than that. See fast plays from the opposition. Speaking of fast plays, that is a complete wipeout over towards the B bomb site. Round over. 6-4 now in favour of G2. Mousesports could buy, but they would have next to no grenades in this situation.
Yeah, it's not been going too well for them, all things considered. This is a much more respectable T side from G2, whereby they are, more legitimately pulling off rounds against Mousesports. Not to need to cry about their T side too much from the last map, but this definitely is looking much better for them. Winning by against 5, forcing Mousesports into hard and tight positions, and the aggression from Mousesports on these pistols here in this round is not going to work out massively in their favor. A 1-for-2 trade overall as they go down to 3 players, and the bomb is going to be moved, or picked up rather.
It's a nice angle for shadows there for Chris J. Obviously people could come from the right hand side as well, in which you would not see the shadow. But it's good to know, always learning where the shadows are. You can see Nico, he sees the AK there, but he doesn't want to pick it up because obviously the sound of his weapon dropping gives his position away. That said, he's going to pick it up and take body down. So 2 versus 3 now, an AK and Kevlar, both these Mousesports players. Problem is they are smoked off the choke point, and that may deter them from going for the push here.
Yeah, and this is a position we saw Fnatic do very well from. If you look at Mousesports' position at 2 versus 3, this is a kind of spot where Fnatic were doing very well against NIP yesterday, but Nico gets taken down immediately. He's not going to be pulling off any flusher moves and clutching 1 versus 3, again, as we saw yesterday. So it is going to be another round here for G2. Spiddy looking to save that AK though, which would be nice into the next round. But G2 with a strong T side at the moment. And I have to say, I can't be too confident in Mousesports' T sides. Like, I can't really say consistently what I feel about their T sides because they tend to be really off and on, sometimes more off than on. And they did have structural issues, especially at the major. They had some really weird matches, and they were really weird because of their T side. Their CT sides would usually be their fallback, and they would usually have a high degree of consistency to win up to 10 rounds to make sure that they could have a bad T side. But right now, G2 are doing enough to seemingly prevent this. And so G2 might be, if G2 can take this map, I feel like they're looking decent in the series all of a sudden. Because Dust 2 is a pretty great map for the players like Shox and RPK and Smiths and Scream and Body. Yeah,
I know Shox will be very confident going into that map, but we'll see if they can get there. Warp onto both teams once again. Mousesports have a reasonable score so far on their CT side. You would argue it is the less favoured side on this map. Very hard to defend with 5 people alive, let alone 4. You can see the AWPer Chris J has some support in Dennis, and he has tightened up his angle based on the, or perhaps based on the hardship he's had against Smiths. Chris J just wasn't fast enough with the reactions.
Yeah, I think because he kind of messed up the flashbang there and flashed himself a bit too much, he then got a little bit afraid to go for the peek. I think he wanted to peek with it, but this is a kind of weird situation now. Is he even properly covering his teammate? He probably is, actually. He probably is. I was thinking, is Dennis stuck there? But Dennis should be okay for Chris J to take the shot first. Although I'm kind of curious. Maybe we will find out, maybe we won't. We've got 2 Ts over towards the drop, just holding angles again. One towards Connector that Shox's teammate is holding. It will be an instant headshot if CT jumps into that, but they will know why Zardan to do so. So the bomb and the team moving away from Chris J's angle over towards long A. And because Dennis basically can't move unless they gamble or Chris J gets a shot off, they might be stuck there for a while as the execute comes in towards the bomb site. Oh, Nico's going in the smoke, this time much deeper, and this time 2 kills unanswered. And it looks much better here for Mousesports to claim this round. Another spray from Nico, taking down Smith. Bomb laid at his feet. And Nico is definitely going to be happy with this round, as it's just Scream left, and he's looking to just perhaps do some extra damage or survive at the end, and he will survive. So we'll see if off the back of this round any momentum can be generated for Mousesports, but generally speaking, it's been a story of decent T rounds here from G2. They've been able to consistently find the picks that they need to get forward positions, or in some rounds they've been able to actually harass a little bit into these bomb sites and force passive setups from Mousesports, and then kind of capitalize by having having the space to create like a good setup on the offense. So generally speaking, some good basics here from the T side of G2, much better than Cash, And I actually think that G2 are maybe even favoured for the map at this point. We've already 7 rounds on the T side, could still be more.
Nico's just suffering a technical issue, So as soon as he is ready, we will resume the match. And yes, Dan, G2 are looking good at the moment, but we'll see what their defenses are like in the second half. I mean, if Mousesports can get a reasonable amount of rounds on the board on their CT side, again, their T sides have looked ropey on this. Let's not forget the Cobblestone match, which I think was the longest match in a major versus Flipside.
It was
in
really,
Columbus.
really long, yeah.
Yeah, that
like
was
5 overtimes or something.
There was a lot of overtimes.
Maybe
so
6.
We'll see if those T sides are improving a bit later on. And I think if this does go to 3 maps, then we shall do another Cobblestone case.
I thought you were going to say all the Cobblestone cases.
Well, there's still North America to come, so we have to try and hold on to at least one Cobblestone case for the boys across the pond. Although I do know that a lot of you stay up to watch that as well in Europe. So shout out to you troopers who do that. The producer we still have maybe 4 cases left, Dan. So we can do one more. Should this go to all the way to 3 maps, and then save the rest of North America, and then it's time to get some more. I do love me some. To be honest, it's almost a punishment now because we've opened so many of them. But so if you fancy G2, I mean, you said that you fancy Mousesports for all the maps basically.
Yeah,
I'm guessing that hasn't changed.
Well, yeah, generally speaking, I mean, I feel like they are always a little bit relying on their CT size like phase, because on the T side you can see that generally speaking they don't have as strong team decision making and as some teams do. Some teams are more kind of a T-sided specialist, because on the T side you can get a lot out of tactics and dictating the pace and so on and so forth, and creating weird situations for the CTs. But also, if you can read the map really well, if you've got like an in-game leader, and Pronax was actually always credited very, very highly with that kind of skill set, with being able to interpret how to play against like a CT like rotation and knowing intrinsically understanding very, very quickly exactly what's going on, even though obviously he can't see all the information that we have. He just sees his players and what the players have seen on the map. But he just knows, and he instantly is able to call exactly like the right decisions, how to rotate his players to get the best out of a round. And there are some teams that have that skill set, and some teams that don't have it so much. I think that has been one of the problems for Mousesports. Is that we've seen a lot of rounds where they look really lost when it goes into the mid round, when their initial plan doesn't work on a map like Cobblestone on the T side. On the major, for example, we see like they want to pressure into an area, smokes go down, and they're like, oh, don't know what to do. Let's go to the other bomb site. Then the smoke's down there, and they're like, oh, can't do anything here.
What do we do now?
Go back to the other site, and then there's like 20 seconds left, and they haven't accomplished anything. Stuff like that, that level of indecision and lack of use of grenades to understand we need to take this area at this time, or this, and this, having that structure there, that's something that they need in their game. And I think we are seeing them slowly working on it. And I think obviously a lot of Mousesports have had so much criticism because initially it was all about inconsistency. Absolutely. I mean, it was all about getting Nex initially, and then they got Nex, and then Nex sort of started to kind of drop off in performance. He wasn't this like super mad, like insane, crazy fragger. Because initially I think it was around August last year when we saw Nex jumping into Mousesports. I believe it was that long ago. Everyone was hyping him up because like best player out of Germany, maybe, this kind of thing. And then his results kind of tapered off a little bit. Then you get Nico into the team, and everyone's like, oh, finally, Nico can come into the team. And then no one was performing. Only like one of those 3 players would perform. It's only recently then now that we have all the players potentially performing in certain matches that are important. So Mousesports are getting there, slowly but surely. It's more of a team effort now. So
yeah.
So that's good to see. There is evolution, but they're under so much scrutiny. So I do feel for them.
Well, Nico is going to restart his internet to try and solve his issues. So while he does that, we are going to go to a quick break. And as soon as those issues are solved, we will be back with the rest of Cobblestone. So stay tuned, guys. We'll hopefully see you very soon.
James definitely doesn't have his mic turned on. Definitely doesn't
Shut
have it
up.
turned on. Knew it.
Why? All right, whatever. So it's time for Cobblestone to continue. Nico is continuing. I think he has some kind of connection lag though. Let's have a look here. His ping is 83, but Mousesports would rather play with Nico than get somebody with a lower ping. So we'll see how that. I mean, 83 is still manageable. Bearing in mind, Adren, formerly of Hellraisers, used to be the clutch king of 100 ping, playing from Kazakhstan and used to wreck fools online all the time.
Depends really, I guess, if there's packet loss or something. Because sometimes routing changes can randomly happen. And then you're like, oh, I'm on this ping now. But what I don't understand, actually, is that there isn't proxying like built within the game. So you can just, there's like a bunch, like, why are there not like a bunch of proxy servers? So you can get an optimal
Please
route.
explain this in layman terms for people who have no understanding of proxying within games.
Well, I think we're jumping into the match, so I have to talk about it later. If we recall, there's lots of things that we're like, oh, we'll talk about it later, but we never do. Like that story that we'll probably end up never telling people, the Turpentine story. But maybe one day, maybe they get lucky.
People tweet us. They're asking. They want to know that. They say, tell us the story. That's what they say, Dan. That's what they say. 2-round advantage for G2 as we get back into this. Double up coming out for the CT side. Fast play again. Loads of fast plays here for G2, but it's the CT getting the first frag, and they will trade. RPK will be traded. The double AWPs continue on the remaining players for the Mousesports side. Smith's looking for some openings here. Shoxy coming in with one, but again, the trades will happen. Although Smith won't be traded on this occasion. Close to shooting Nico in the head there through the chicken coop. He's looking, and Nico has found. Scream will respond. So Chris J versus Scream. I don't think Chris J's had a part to play in this entire round just yet. Has he spotted anything there? Trying to make sure that he doesn't give his position away. Scream has no idea where he might be. Going to check his 6. Maybe Scream will go down to the drop. Yeah.
Wow.
Maybe he will, but it's going to be difficult to get into the drop without making a sound. Chris J is playing from a... Oh no, he's backing off into the drop dance. Chris J's in the drop. Scream could just shoot him in the head. And he will do exactly that. That is very unfortunate indeed for Chris J. And Scream will take the round.
Indeed. Well played by Scream to realise that he had time to do something like that. And the AWP in the open is definitely going to be a problem. So, save again for Mousesports, and G2 continue their reign of dominance on the cobblers, on the cobobulous cobblestone of cobbles. So we have a bunch of pistols for Mousesports, and I don't expect them to do too much with them. Chris J just bought armor just now, James. He waited until 1 minute 40. He waited 15 seconds to buy armor.
He was Hollywooding Dan in spawn. He was Hollywooding. Ha. Okay, I'll buy it. You were always going to buy it. That is a Hollywood. I don't think he's really doing that, though. Anyway, pistols here. I know people who Hollywood in games, Dan. Not Counter-Strike, though.
I thought you were talking about waxes or type of wax or something.
No. Hollywood's like, you know, someone goes, oh, you know, I might retire from gaming. Oh, you know, I don't know if I should go on anymore. But they have no intention of doing it, Dan. They just want to talk about themselves because they suck. That is Hollywooding. Or an example of Hollywooding. Oh, I'm going to just want to do this, but really I've got no intention of doing it. Let's talk about me. Oh, guess what, guys? I'm not going to do it. Hashtag Hollywood. Let's go. Well, everyone's dead apart from Nico. So, second last round, not much to report, really. People are looking around, admiring the chateau, frowning upon the graffiti around. Speaking of graffiti, I wonder if we'll ever have graffiti. Do you remember when Cobblestone was in a much worse design and there was Forrest at the major with a Mag 7 at the back of A, jumping and wrecking people with a Mag 7?
I actually don't even remember what that design was like. I have no memory of it.
I remember because if you came out of A long, you would be basically exposed to pretty much the entire A site at once. Whereas now there's more of a design so you can actually have some jewels in certain places, like towards the connector door, for example, but you would be exposed towards the site, towards the balcony, and towards the slope. I made a half-an-hour video on it when it first came out.
They did actually surprisingly do a pretty good job at fixing this map.
They did.
Because it became a playable, competitive map. Hopefully they can do the same for Nuke James.
Yeah, I'm glad that they removed the box on top of... Well, I don't even know what to call it. Anyway, I need to have a look at those updates a bit later on, but we will stay on to Cobblestone for For now, the nuke map will not be featuring in this season of ECS, but I'm sure it will end up being in the next one. Chris J going to be flashed out of position here. He is alone, although he has a player in tow now from the danger area, but it seems that Mousesports might be compromised. This is a bit of a risque setup here. Meanwhile, Nico gets taken down towards B plateau. That's the big boy taken down. Chris J, I wonder if there was a bit of a boost over the smoke, but no shots fired towards Chris J, so I do wonder if they saw him. Either way, he's gone, as has Nex. He gone now, taken down by Shoxy. G2 looking good for a 10-5 half here.
Absolutely. It looks really good for them, to be honest. They are outclassing Mousesports so far. Mousesports not able to hit those shots that they need to hit to save themselves, and it's going to be another disappointing result there for Dennis. Chris J needs to get it done versus multiple assailants, but they are not even looking his way. 2 frags on 2 unaware players, and all of a sudden Chris J, he's making it happen. 3 frags for Chris J. He's looking for the ace. He's gonna clutch it. 5 kills. Chris J somehow secures a 5th round, and that is, sorry, a 6th round, and that's unbelievable stuff there from Chris J. Considering the fact that I think maybe 2 or 3 of those players weren't even looking at him. So that's beautiful timing. And he credit to the guy, he capitalized. Mr. Dutch person, the Flying Dutchman.
Oh, yes. So I have to apologize. Nico is in fact not Serbian, he is Bosnian.
Bosnian.
I think I made an assumption that he was Serbian because Janko is such a fan of well, Nico and tries to support him and so on, talks to him a lot. And
it can be misleading as well because of a lot of players from that region, Serbia, Bosnia, and so on and so forth, in that geographical region, they all understand each other, even though they speak like slightly different languages or variants of a similar language. Yeah. They all understand each other, so they end up playing together. So you can also make that assumption, like that Janko is playing with him, that maybe he also would be speaking Serbian with Janko, but who knows what they speak to each other? Maybe they don't speak at all, James.
Maybe they speak Russian.
Maybe they just look at each other. And
I know Janko understands Serbian. Because it was funny when we...
because he's Serbian.
I mean Russian, sorry.
I was going to say...
I meant to say Russian, but I was going to tell a story, which maybe we shouldn't tell Dan. Anyway, where was I going with this? I look forward to going back to Serbia. We had a good time in Serbia.
Serbia's a really nice country. They have great food.
Yes.
They have amazing food.
Good people and good food. We made friends with beautiful people there.
I really love Eastern Europe, actually. In general, all of it.
Well, into the last round now of the, what am I talking about? It's the pistol round of the second half. There we go, yes. 3 players with Kevlar on the Mousesports side, and 4 for G2. Chocks on the flash and the defuse kit. Going for some pot shots. Body is just taking some wild guesses here. No connection just yet. That flash from Shoxy comes in. Body finds himself too. Scream trying to talk about his one-taps here, but they're yet to be found. Well, there's 2 for them. So, Spiddy alone versus 3. The bomb is his. He's got 1:20 on the clock. There's no flank coming in for the CT, so Spiddy has time to play with, choices to make, and gambles to take. You're not going to talk, are you? Look at you, your stupid grin on your face. Well, we've got Smith coming in from the back now. We'll see if he can find the angle onto Speedy. Speedy may have surpassed him, actually. Smith may... Oh, never mind. There we go. The round goes the way of the French.
Yeah, that's a big win, isn't it? That massacre on Plateau was kind of funny. It's like 4 Ts, 2 CTs. Going at it. And that's G2 looking really strong to kick things off here. And what I like actually for Mousesports is they they get the they don't get a full force in here. Chris J will be saving some. He spends 500. Of course, he wants an AWP. But they the rest of the players buy up more or less, apart from Speedy, who also actually including Speedy, who's also forced, but he's forced with a deagle, smoke, and 2 flashes. So they have some grenades. Now, how these grenades will be used is up for question. Nico is going to die, though. That's unfortunate for Nico. But the main bulk of the push is coming towards A, and there's one player here. Is RPK going to get something done? He gets flashbanged, and then he gets strangled by Chris J. So here we go, we got the push coming in right now, and it's not looking amazing for Mousesports just due to the fact that their weaponry is not all that ideal for the task at hand. Spitty though doesn't seem to need armor, picks up a frag regardless, and a UMP and an extra flashbang. So let's see if he can get things on the taps there. Oh, actually gets a dink onto Smith. Oh, another dink coming in. He switches up for the deagle there to finish off these players, but he can't. Unfortunate for Smith, well not, oh my God, the Spitty. I knew it begins with an S, James. Just had to find the right team. So 11-6 now, and G2 are well on the way to having a strong Cobblestone. What are you doing, James?
I cannot talk as well, Dan. If you want to play that I'm not going to talk game, then I can also play it. There's room for two, Dan.
This is a terrible game for casters to play. It's just like the worst possible game that two casters could play.
Yes, I think it is. Well,
let's play chicken with dead air. Like, what is that?
Mousesports have half the score of G2 now. AWP coming out for the T side for Chris J and co. Again,
oh yes.
While you might argue that they are on the stronger side, it's not. I don't know that any side is particularly strong on this map. It is still quite a difficult map to play to a good level, as we have seen on various T sides, as we saw at Major, no less. Nico though, boom, just coming in. Hello, I'm going to shoot you in the face. Although it appears he was shot in the face first. But the AK superiority will prevail. There was a thread on Reddit recently that said, "What can we make the CT rifles one-tap rifles because some of the pistols are one-tap from a certain distance?"
Oh my God!
Never mind. Game balance, Dan. Yeah, he said it doesn't make sense why the pistol's one-tap but the M4's on. Because it's a game. It's a game. Mousesports over towards the A site with the entire team. Is there a read from G2? They are a man down, and oh, of course, they've got Scream on the flank. He's been boosted up, so the CT's trying to get to A as soon as they can, but can they get there fast enough? Smiths is close. Smiths is dead, leaving 3 versus 5 here. Nico and Dennis tagged, so there is stuff that G2 could do. You can see RPK on the site now, but how many frags can he get? There's the first one onto Dennis. Almost takes Speedy down, but he'll be finished off by a body. Scream taking down Nico as well. So 2 versus 2. The bomb is on the site, but the CTs are close. And now Chris J is alone with the AWP with 2 to find. Needs to position himself so he does not get traded by the second player. Should he take down the first? That is a good play. Body goes down. Chris J versus Scream. Scream. His HP doesn't matter at this point because that no scope is real. Chris J going to bury him. Shallow grave for Scream.
That is sick. I mean, Scream made a nice few kills there. It's very Scream-esque, but that was a thing of beauty there from Chris J. That no scope to clutch the round, and we will see whether or not Mousesports can have any sort of resurgence now, as they do need to contest against the double AWP setup, and a lot of nades here for G2 as well. So the only body really who doesn't have nades. We'll have to see if this is going to... Oh, that was painful there. What a brilliant HE. And running and gunning is not going to work against Shoxy with such low HP. And G2, oh my God, they are wrecking this buy of Mousesports.
Yeah, this is not going to plan, Dan, to say the least. Ooh, Chris J going to take body down, but I mean, is that all the damage he's going to do? He's getting sprayed down through that box. Finds a second frag, minute 20. He has the bomb as well. He can go, he can walk away, he can reset the situation.
He can save as well. I don't think there's anything he can do. He can go to the tower, James. The maiden tower. Sans maiden. Maybe he will be the maiden, James. Maybe Chris J will be the maiden in the tower.
Maybe Chris J is the tower.
I think it's more likely he is
the maiden,
not the inanimate object, that he is instead the maiden.
Well, you know, maybe he is the tower, like in Game of Thrones, the mountain is the mountain.
Oh, no way. There's no way he gets a kill. Okay, he survived a very long time there.
170 damage with grenades by Shox.
You know, the way things happen with the mountain, I think, if I remember correctly, are quite different in the books, the way it ends up, but
No spoilers.
But now the series have passed the books, so who knows what's going on? Who knows? I finally don't know what's going on, James. It's a new experience for me. We do have ourselves some pistols and armors. And we have ourselves some grenades as well. The Mousesports. So what can they pull together? What can they MacGyver from this one? G2 have been shutting down plays onto these so far. Will this trend continue?
Ooh, the Molotov towards the tree position, but Scream will respond with a smoke. What can he do with this position? He is pretty smoked out. He sees a gap in the smoke though, but he's finding trouble finding anyone to kill. Well, there he goes. 3 frags coming in for the CT side. Scream finding 2 of them. Very nice shot by him. And things will be cleared up through the smoke. That was quite a difficult round for everybody involved, it seems. But there we go. G2 now 2 rounds away from taking this to 3 maps. 14 to the 7 of Mousesports. And look at Mousesports, their money is ruined. They're on about $2,000 each. This is disaster area.
It's basically over at this point, isn't it?
Seems they're going to be ecoing as well. So they're looking for a last-ditch buy to play against Game Point, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, G2, the kind of consistency that they found, the strength they found, it just really looks just like Mousesports just cannot get this Cobblestone done. And they're going to get shut down in this one, giving the map point here to G2. Although 1 frag goes away, Dennis, with that P250, but baited by the gun, in comes Body with almost the 2nd frag, the grenade. It's going to force Biddy down into the rifle of Body, and there is the frag. 15-7, and sure, Mousesports have some money for a buy, but they're yet to show a round which has any degree of consistency against G2's defense. G2 have been doing quite well. Generally speaking, Mousesports, they have been able to get into the A side of the map without too many problems, but the G2 side, generally speaking, for some reason, are doing a lot better in this map on the aim battles as well. You know, it's kind of funny how from map to map it has changed so much in that sense. This is the same case with FaZe in our first best of 3, actually. That was a similar series in that sense.
Was that a CT smoke which bounced back into the drop? If so, it is unfortunate. However, only Nico is over there because Mousesports appear to be going for a faster play towards the A-bomb site. So both teams playing a lot faster than they did in the previous map. Spiddy having the opening frag for his team, but RPK coming in with a 2-man spray down the bomb as well, which means a full rotation should surely come in for the CTs. And it is needed because there are only 2 players left here, one of which was on the side. That was Scream. He's gone down. So it's Smiths versus 2. Spiddy with all of 4 HP. Nico coming in for the flank. So the bomb is miles away, but Smiths... There he is. He's running to the site now. The bomb's been planted. If he can get himself to 1 versus 1, let's see if he's willing to go for the hero defuse. Trying to bait Spiddy out, and there it is. Does he know that Nico is behind him? The defuse comes in. Oh, he's faking. He has no idea where Nico is. Jumping into the middle of nowhere. Just exposing himself to everywhere, Dan.
Yeah, that's really...
And getting punished. He's like, here I am, guys. Oh, I've been taken down.
Yeah, that's a really weird move. Maybe Smiths, maybe a teammate on comms or something, made a call or something that Nico's in a certain spot. I don't know, but still, I don't know what that jump could be really. Let
me present myself in the most exposed position available.
It's kind of nuts.
So you can shoot me from anywhere.
Yeah, definitely wasn't ideal there for Mr. Smiths, and indeed the round will be won by Mousesports. So they hold on another round. Smokes all over the place here on Plateau. And that mate's not going to find too many players. Only Nico, who's going to be jumping in, actually. He is going to take matters into his own hands and looking to snap down the first player. Body doesn't want anything to do with this. He's just falling back from the initial angle and allowing Nico to kind of push forwards. Blood splattered on the wall there, but between Shoxy and Body, they will eventually kill Nico. And the main push has been discovered. Mousesports unleashed here towards the A side of the map, and the entries will follow. 2 versus 2, though, as the B players from G2 rotate.
Body on the site now. Shoxy not far behind either. But he can try and play the bait for Shoxy to come in as they cross to his location. Got himself a 1 versus 1 move next though, but it flashed off the position. And he will be hiding behind the site, losing the duel with Next, leaving Shox alone. Can Shox clutch once again for his team? He is the most capable on the side. They don't seem to know where he is either. Got more flashes coming in, but they will be avoided. Nice headshot onto Speedy. Knows where Next is as well. Easy for Shox. 16-8, we move on to the 3rd map.
Shox has been pretty good on Cobblestone and generally across pretty much every map for G2 lately. So there is a defuse, there is a 16-8, and map 3 is confirmed. Now it is a Dust 2, so on Dust 2 you can really expect G2 to have maybe the best of any chances. I actually felt like Cobblestone would have been way closer because I was kind of thinking that Mousesports are going to get at least 10 rounds on their CT side, but they failed to do so. They got kind of wrecked on the CT side after all. G2 had really good T rounds, which seemingly were pretty good against Mousesports. But equally, that said, Mousesports, from an individual perspective, no one really turned up massively, and that's what normally you'd expect to happen. And on the first map, it looked like they were better individually, but now the second map, like map to map, it's changing the performances a little bit. So G2, I actually don't know who's going to win this now.
Yeah, Dust 2 could go either way. Chris J, Shocks, Smiths, there are many AWPers, Nico as well. So I think it's going to be a fun map, probably the most fun of the 3 maps. So we'll go to a break and see who will take the third one. But before we go, remember, we will be doing another final Cobblestone case during the European broadcast today for one of you unlucky people. So make sure you get involved in that. See you in a few minutes.